Hello, everyone, and welcome to our monthly Power Time update. So I have been doing weekly Power Time updates for a couple months now, and we're shifting now to a monthly update. This way, I can give you everything you need to know for the month ahead, and then you can utilize it. We will be posting videos throughout from week to week, just to give you reminders, and then there will be a way for you to receive emails, weekly emails that give you the information as well. So welcome to our first of our monthly updates. So we are going to dive into March and all the power times that will be helpful for you to manifest what it is you want in your life with the use of the Shreem Brzee mantra. So why are power times important? Power times are windows of opportunity that present themselves to us with the divine assistance of the celestial beings like moon phases, planets, stars, that give us an energetic opening for certain activities to be more productive during that time. Wouldn't it be great to be more productive during a period of a day or an hour or a week, depending upon what type of celestial support you're receiving? That is the purpose of the power times, and that's why we do these sessions. So let's get into March. I will answer questions after we go through the presentation, but now I am going to share my screen and we'll be walking through our events for March. Welcome. So let's start with March 1st. So the moon phase is important because we have the waxing phase of the moon is when it is an ideal time to increase your efforts towards manifestation. It's an ideal time to start something new. It is the abundance. We're working towards the abundance of the full moon. So just imagine it's growing, it's growing, it's growing, it's growing until we reach the full moon on March 17th. And these are all US-based timings. So the new moon is actually February 28th. That gives us the time to close out that phase and then powerfully move in to a waxing phase of the moon starting March 1st. And then after the peak of the 16th or 17th, depending upon where you are in the world, then we start moving into the waning phase. And the waning phase is moving from that fullness back to what's considered more of an emptiness. And Dr. Pillai relates the moon to the mind. So the fullness is also giving us the ability to hold a capacity for what we want to create and manifest. And the new moon gives us less of that capacity to hold what we want to manifest, but more ability to go inwardly spiritually. So both of these phases have potential for us to use in our both material and spiritual lives. So it's not like one is better than the other. They're different, and we teach how to use them for what works best for you during those periods. So in the waning phase, it's a really good time to let things go. Let go of karmic imprints that have been with you, release maybe some clearing out physical objects in your home, clearing out situations in your mind, connecting with your ancestors, asking for their blessings. When we get into the new moon, we'll talk about that. It's just a naturally occurring time to release. So new moon, we do have a new moon that is basically starting the evening of let's just say March 1st. So March 1st and March 31st are new moons this month. We get two of them, which is sometimes unusual. And as I mentioned, the waning phase moves towards this emptiness. So it's a great time for spiritual activities, meditation, releasing of anything no longer serves you. And it's a particularly good time to be offering your ancestors tarpanam, or it's like a food, it's a nourishment. So there's a video that explains exactly how to do that, and that'll be below this video. So very important. These, if you never do ancestor offerings all month, you should definitely do them on the new moon days. That's very important. Why is it important to Shreem Brzee? Because we get imprints from our ancestors that perhaps are giving us poverty thoughts, poverty consciousness. And with that, we want to be able to offset it. We want their blessings. We want to be able to overcome ancestor karmic bondage. And the new moons is the time to do that. And removing ancestral scarcity, removing ancestral poverty is the new moon is the pathway to that. Fourth moons remove obstacles. So removing obstacles in our prayers, our successes in life, and these are also a good time to start something new. This moon is happening on March 5th, as well as the 20th, and the archetype associated with it is Lord Ganesha. And if you're not so familiar with him, it's okay. He's kind of a more widely known archetype across many different religions and cultures. He's known for having an elephant head, and his mantra is Om Gum, G-U-M. You can chant that a few times and just ask for delays to be removed, obstacles to be removed in your manifestation process. The 11th moons. Now, the 11th moons are associated with the archetype Vishnu, who's the consort of Lakshmi, and Shreem Brzee is Lakshmi. So that means both of them together, this divine couple, they bestow us with health, wealth, happiness, particularly Vishnu does. And so this particular day helps us to access his energy, his mantra, Om Namo Narayanaya. And again, if you don't want to incorporate any other mantras, it's okay, just chant Shreem Brzee. But this is another day, it's a day to add on to your Shreem Brzee practice. So if you're doing 108 Shreem Brzees, do 1,008. Just do a little extra on this day because it's a supportive time for wealth building. And these 11th moons are happening on the 13th of March and the 27th. 13th moons. These are one of our favorites because the 13th moon is a juncture of time that gives us a transition period where we can dissolve karma, old habits that have been plaguing us, giving us persistent thoughts, bad habits, negativity. That is karma. That is what built up around, this lifetime, other lifetimes. And the 13th moons give us an opportunity to release that, to dissolve it. Particularly, Brzee is the mantra that can allow us to remove scarcity consciousness, remove karma. Karma is stored at the throat. Chanting Brzee or Shreem Brzee at the throat at least 108 times or more is a way to release those bad habits, to dissolve that karma. Another thing that you can do on these days is called the surrogate spiritual technique or technology to release karma. And I did a whole workshop on that you can watch for these particular days, and that's March 15th and March 29th. We love 13th moons because they kind of clear the space to be creating. Now we get to our peak fullness, right? Peak fullness of the moon, peak fullness of the energy, the capacity of holding abundant manifestations. And that's going to be March 17th. The full moon is the most powerful day of the whole month for Shreem Brzee because Lakshmi is associated with the full moon. She is abundant. She is the most abundant. And so when we have the energy of the moon supporting that, that means that day is the most powerful time of the whole month to be doing your practices, to be doing your Shreem Brzee meditations, to be chanting, to write Shreem Brzee, to be focusing on your goals and what it is you want to achieve, to visualize what you want to manifest. The full moon is the day to do that. So if you don't do your practices all month long, make sure on the full moon day, you're putting in that time. And if you're doing them every day, put more in on the full moon. We recommend that you write Shreem Brzee 1,008 times if you can during the full moon, or maybe a couple days around it. If you can join together in meditation and chanting, do that with other people. Fire labs. We host fire labs every month for the full moon. Please join them. You get the group synergy, energy of everyone else participating. You get the fire ritual, which Dr. Pillai says is the most powerful ritual that you can do. And you get the energy of the full moon, and of course, Shreem Brzee empowering all of that. It's a time when whatever you do is multiplied, that it magnifies your blessing. So if I haven't made it clear, don't miss the full moon. Do whatever you can, whether it's at home or joining our Fire Lab, our program to help bring you together with others and participate in this divine ceremony. There is the vernal equinox coming up on March 20th. This is a good time to reset yourself. Take a look. The equinoxes and the solstices come 4 times a year. They're like checkpoints, energetic checkpoints to say, okay, where have I come from since the last check-in point, which was in December. That was the solstice, the winter solstice. So now we're 3 months from December. Where have you gone with your goals? What would you like to redo or reset? It's a good fluid time energetically to recreate. And March is also a fluid time. It's a juncture time. So there's a lot of energy for fluidity, for change happening in March, which is useful for our ability to move from where we are to where we want to be. That takes fluidity, that takes the ability to change. And the equinox is another opportunity to do that. Declutter your house, your environment, your mind, all of those things so that you can be planting the seeds for spring that is coming next. So good time for clearing out the old, planting new. March is just so ripe for that. Next, we have the Anuradha star day. So there's different stars, 27 of them, as a matter of fact. And we're all born on a star. It's called our birth star or nakshatra in the Vedic astrology. And Vishwamitra and Lakshmi actually have the same birth star, and it is called Anuradha. So we celebrate this every month to allow us to tap into their energy. When you're born on the star or your particular star, that means you're associated with that energy. So your star day occurs. It's a great power time for you. When the Anuradha star comes around, it's a great time to tap into the energy of Vishwamitra and goddess Lakshmi. So do extra Shreem Brzees, do some Brzees. If you have a statue of Vishwamitra, I don't know if you can see this, the little statue here, or a yantra, it's a great time to hydrate it. Just pour some water over it, milk over it, chant Shreem Brzee, clean it off and put it back on your altar, and make some other offerings if you have that as your practice. So wonderful time to celebrate Shreem Brzee. Next, we have Friday. So every Friday is a power time because Fridays are ruled by the planet Venus. Venus is the planet of prosperity and material comforts. And goddess Lakshmi is the overlord of planet Venus. That might be a mouthful, just trusting in that, Venus is the energy of Fridays. Goddess Lakshmi is incorporated into that. So every Friday is like a goddess Friday. So you want to connect with Lakshmi and Shreem Brzee. Specifically on Fridays, do some extra practice. You can hydrate your yantra if you have one, chant some extra Shreem Brzees, do your meditation, connect with others in group. We host free chanting calls every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. And this month we actually are shifting from daylight savings to standard time to daylight savings time. So there will be a shift in those timings. But every Friday we host Shreem Brzee chanting calls that you can join, and they're absolutely free. Tip of the month: chant longer. Basically, whatever you're doing, chant longer. Dr. Pillai recently told us that in order to accelerate our Shreem Brzee practice, we should be meditating or chanting for longer periods of time. So 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever you can do to add to your practice. Maybe you can't do it on a regular basis, but maybe once a month or once a week, you can really dive in and do a longer meditation. We are hosting some long sessions, between 2 and 4 hour meditations, coming up in a program that we'll be releasing soon, the Shreem Brzee Manifestation Immersion Extension Program. So if you're in the Manifestation Immersion, fantastic. If you weren't, you'll still be able to join the extension program, which is going to give us an opportunity to chant longer, meditate longer, join together on full moons for 4 hours of meditation plus a fire ritual. So it gives us the opportunity to really utilize these power times in the best possible way so we can get the most out of them. Don't let another month go by, right? Like, let's utilize every bit of juicy, amazing energy given to us to further our practice and not wait for our manifestations, not wait for our goals to occur. So we'll be posting that information this week for you to be able to join those sessions. But if you can't join those sessions, then by all means, do extra meditations on your own. Free events this month. So we have several of them. Every Friday, Shreem Brzee group chanting. And as I mentioned, we're on Pacific Standard Time right now. After the 13th of March, we'll be in daylight savings, so that will shift. Then we have March 13th. I am hosting an Accelerate Your Shreem Brzee Manifestations webinar, absolutely free. That'll be 11 a.m. Pacific Daylight Savings, same place you're watching this. And then on March 27th, I'll do the month ahead April monthly Powertime update. Same time, same place. And I mentioned earlier about you can join. There'll actually be 2 different programs you can join this month. Powertime Events, which is the full moon fire labs, and the weekly Shreem Brzee pujas or sound and light offerings. But the Shreem Brzee Manifestation Immersion will add to that, and we will have a 4-hour meditation with on the full moons. I believe it's going to be 2 hours every Friday night to meditate, and some teaching sessions included in that. So keep a lookout for that. And that's everything we're doing in March. So good stuff, right? So I will take your questions now. Please post them in chat. And then I will see you next month for the next update. I will actually see you sooner because I'll be hosting some of the webinars and free events that are happening throughout March as well. Question, what is the difference in terms of the effectiveness of chanting, non-local chanting, unconscious listening, if there is any difference at all? There is a difference. Thank you for asking that question. So if you're chanting with intention, like meaning you're sitting, you're meditating, you're incorporating Shreem Brzee a little more into your more actively participating. That is going to be more effective than when you're multitasking and chanting, for example, right? Like, or unconsciously listening. It's all helpful because it's all bombarding our consciousness with Shreem Brzee. It's all creating more Shreem Brzee in our life. And we want to incorporate a Shreem Brzee lifestyle. You want to have Shreem Brzee playing in the background. You want to be chanting it while you're multitasking. And you want to be sitting in meditation, going deeper. When you sit in meditation, you go deeper, it's more effective because you're allowing your mind to be more still, right? You're bringing your attention back to the mantra. So when you're meditating, it's important that when a thought comes, you're bringing your awareness back to the mantra, back to, let's say, if it's a chakra or location on the body. That is what brings us to a stiller place in our mind. So that's more effective. But by all means, make sure you continue to incorporate the other, maybe less effective means, because it's all helpful. Thank you for that question, Rio. Any other questions? Sue says, looking forward to continuation of Shreem Brzee immersion. Yeah, we've gotten some amazing feedback on that program, and it's a really sweet group of people. And I look forward to expanding that and having more people join as well. The price points are going to be lower because we are removing some of the sessions to make it more affordable for folks. And we're going to keep it going. Questions, comments, sharing. All right, so I think that's it then. If there aren't any other questions, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. I will see you again in 2 weeks. Just making sure, yeah, in 2 weeks from now, we will be doing a webinar on March 13th on how to accelerate your Shreem Brzee. So some of you have been asking, I've been chanting Shreem Brzee and I'm not getting the results that I want as fast as I want them. What should I do? This webinar is going to answer all of your questions for that, how to accelerate your Shreem Brzee manifestation process. And there are several ways to do that. And I will go through the different ways that you can accelerate your Shreem Brzee. So join me on March 13th, Shreem Brzee official YouTube and Facebook to learn all about that. Let's see, what else is there? Yeah, and then the full moon. So the new Shreem Brzee Manifestation Immersion Program will start on the full moon, March 17th. So we'll be posting those links soon for you to join, and then you can participate starting on the full moon. Question, how would I deal with the powerful times and dates in terms of time zones? Good question, Stefan. So it depends on your time zone. So I am mentioning when these energies occur in US time, so Pacific to East Coast time zones. You'll have to translate them into yours. So whenever the full moon is for you, that's when you'll participate in it. Whenever the new moon is for you, that's when you'll participate in the ancestor offerings, for example. However, when you're participating in a ritual, it doesn't matter as much where you are as it does where the person performing it is on your behalf. So for example, with our Shreem Brzee Immersion Program, we have rituals. Also with the Powertime Events Program, we have rituals. So wherever the priest is, so in this case, it's Priest Premraj, and he happens to be in India right now. So when he's performing the fire ritual on the full moon day, where the ritual occurs is the most important aspect. Where we are watching that ritual occur during that power time is what matters. Now, if you're doing your own hydration ceremony or meditation, then it's where you are. I hope that makes sense. Right, so my Friday evening is your Saturday morning. That's not completely connected, but what you do get is that you have the group energy. So some of these calls don't overlap with the power time of the location you're in. Okay, so give an example. Friday evening in the US is a great time for chanting Shreem Brzee, but it's Saturday morning other places. You're encouraged to also chant your Friday evening to tap into your energy of your Friday. However, when you join the groups, no matter when it is, you're joining in the group energy. It's called synergy, that we create more than we would all by ourselves. And that's one of the ways to accelerate your Shreem Brzee practice. I'll get into that on the March 13th webinar. But that group synergy is one of the aspects of accelerating. So you want to join them, even if it's not on the power time. So do the practice during your power time if you can, and also join the group. Hope that makes sense. I hope that helps you. Stefan? Any other questions? Is there a shape for Shreem Brzee in terms of yantras are divine, sacred geometry. And I don't have it with me. It's on my altar. Sometimes I bring it, but I don't have the yantra with me. And if you look at the Shreem Brzee yantra, it has shape. It has 2 triangles that are connected together, and that would be considered its shape. It's like a 6-pointed star. And interestingly enough, when some wonderful person energized Shreem Brzee water and then sent it to Emoto's lab to have it, the crystal, be manifest, it was the same look as the yantra. And Pillai Center actually has a blog on that where we kind of overlay the yantra and the water crystal, and it looks very similar. It's really quite interesting. So if you're looking for a shape, it would be that shape. You're welcome. Thank you. Any other questions? All right, so this is not Shreem Brzee related, but I am going to put it out there because it's very powerful, and Dr. Pillai is doing a live event on what's called the Great Night of Shiva, Mahashivaratri, which is February 28th. So it's a very important karma removal or destiny changing time. It's when you do a vigil or hold meditation over this particular night once per year. Dr. Pillai will be hosting a midnight session with us, and just an extremely powerful time to be connecting in group meditation and with Dr. Pillai. So it's called the Great Night of Shiva or Mahashivaratri, and it's a time for dissolving your karma. I'm just checking. The link isn't in there, but I will add it under the video if you're interested. How effective is writing the sound to saying it? And is there a specific difference apart from them obviously being one writing and one verbal? So the difference is that when you're writing it, you're taking an unmanifest thing, Shreem Brzee, and making it manifest. You're literally putting it on paper, right? Like now it's a physical thing. So that connection with the brain and the body and the writing does make a difference in the manifestation process, which is why it's always recommended, not just by us, but like, life coaches, to write your goals. I think it's Brian Tracy has a whole thing about the importance of writing what it is you want to create. So writing it down does have that connection to the brain of like manifest. So it's taking unmanifest and making it manifest. So writing is important. It does take a little more time, but if you're serious about what you want to create, then by all means be writing your Shreem Brzee as well. Chanting is more subtle. So there's the kind of physical part, and then there's, which is larger from a material standpoint, and then there's the more subtle part, and both are important. We need that physical part to allow the unmanifest to become manifest, and then we need the more subtle aspect of the chanting to go deeper into these atomic, small level particles of our mind, body, spirit. I hope that answered your question. Is there somewhere in our website course where we can find the info about the different moons? If you're talking about the course that we're in right now, no, there's not a section on that, the different moon phases. When I meditate, why do I get distracted? Because you have a brain. Human brains are, probably all brains, are very active, right? We know that. It's called the monkey mind. And our brain is always active. In fact, what do we have? Like 30 to 50 thoughts per minute. It's a lot of thoughts. That means like almost every second we're thinking something else. So it's an active brain. This is science. We know this. When you try to meditate on something, the process of meditating is to focus in on one thing versus all the thoughts that are coming at us. And when we do that, we start noticing all the thoughts. Not that we're having more thoughts when we meditate, it's that more thoughts are being recognized and we're being aware of them now as we meditate. So that causes your distraction, right? The mind wants to go be doing something. We've also been trained to not focus on things for a very long period of time. I mean, you look at social media and how we've gone to from, holding our attention from 6 minutes on a YouTube video to 6 seconds on a TikTok video, right? The mind is being trained by social media and other distractions to not be able to focus for a longer period of times. However, that's detrimental for our ability to focus on what we want to manifest. In order to be able to create something, you have to be able to focus on it for more than 6 seconds. You have to be able to focus in to kind of have those thoughts resonate more deeply and create an imprint that that's what's going to manifest. And then your meditations are what help you to release a lot of the negativity and distractions and go deeper into the soul level of creating. So really important to be able to refocus during your meditation process. So what typically happens is we sit to meditate and a lot of thoughts will come and we want to go do them or get distracted by them, or maybe we are, picking up our phone and doing something. Resist the urge and go back to whatever it is you're focusing on. If you're focusing on your heart center and you're chanting Shreem Brzee, come back to that. If you're thinking of your manifestation, come back to that. So meditation is the process of coming back to whatever it is you decided you were going to focus on and continuing to do that until you decide you're done. That could be 5 minutes, that could be 10, that could be an hour, that could be 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. So the more we do it, the better we get at it and the easier it is to continue to focus. Not only to focus, but when you start focusing, you're realizing you start getting this flood of energy. And now all of a sudden, it's not just work trying to refocus your mind. You're actually having spiritual experiences. And that's where the fun comes in. When you start feeling really high, or you start seeing, maybe visions or getting messages from the divine, now you're clearing yourself out from those distracting thoughts that are keeping us in this mundane world. Who we are is this divine light aligned with the universal consciousness. That's who we are. All this other stuff is layers of distraction, karma, thoughts. So when we meditate, we're trying to align with this divine interaction. Yoga literally means to yoke, to join. So we're joining this human sense of who we are with the divine. That's yoga. And that's what the yogis did, not people in a yoga studio. The yogis are the ones who connected with their divine self to overcome human limitations. The mind being a human limitation. You can use the mind to go higher by clearing it out and allowing us to yoke or connect with our divine consciousness. That was a long answer to your question. But thank you for asking. Is chanting mentally same as speaking it out loud? No, that's different as well. Dr. Pillai does a video on that, and it's similar to what I said before, which is the more you're in a subtle level, kind of going deeper. So when you're chanting out loud, you have the vibration, which is helping you. So Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee, like you can feel the vibration through the body, through the mouth, right? Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee, it's going out into your environment. Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee. And what Dr. Pillai recommends is you could start with it loud, Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee, get quieter, Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee. Feel how that is for you. More quiet, more quiet. And now say it inwardly. And now don't even repeat it to yourself, just think it. And now try not to even think it and just have it be throughout you. Be vibrating with Shreem Brzee no matter what you're doing or what you're saying. And that's the ultimate. So you can see there's a range of benefits from chanting it out loud, having it vibrate through you, to having it more and more and more subtle, to it's just vibrating through you without sound, but continuously. And that's union with the mantra. What do I do with the notebook after you write it? So you can burn it, pages, carefully. You can keep it. It's energy. It obviously has a lot of energy to it. But yeah, you can burn them and release them, or put them in nature or something like that. Not litter, but maybe on your own property. Let's see what other questions we have. I've been listening to Shreem Brzee while watching my goals, video reels with background music. Great. Is this effective? And if so, what is happening while incorporating both visions and sound? That's perfect. That's great. If you have the ability to create your own, visual kind of mind map, right? Like of what you want to create, your like a video vision board. That's fantastic. That's perfect. The eyes are incorporating it, and I've done this on meditations in programs, which is doing the creative visualization of just infusing your senses with the joy and the details of what you want to manifest. That will all come together in that visualization. Then you can be chanting as well. So embodying your visualization is really important. Your manifestation is really important, and the visuals of it are part of that. So seeing it, smelling it, hearing it, touching it, all of those things, incorporating the senses as much as possible, very important in the manifestation process. And what's even more important is the joy of incorporating the passion, joy and passion into what you want to create. So you could be doing this while kind of lackluster or not caring, then it's not going to matter. You can watch all the videos all you want all day long. If you don't care and there's not passion and joy around it, you won't manifest. Yeah, so the Lakshmi, someone's mentioning the Lakshmi back here. She is my Shreem Brzee Lakshmi statue. Isn't she gorgeous? She's custom made in India. This is our design from Dr. Pillai, and she's unique because she has these serpents, these snakes, and the snake, Dr. Pillai says, removes negativity. And so she has this extra significance to her where she has the ability to also remove negativity. And that's the Shreem Brzee aspect of it. So you might have heard me or Dr. Pillai talk about how Brzee specifically removes karma, scarcity, which is negativity, just negativity. And so these serpents are another aspect of removing that negativity from us. So isn't she gorgeous? All right. Any other questions? Getting some good questions today. Okay. Yeah. Anything else? Should we use rose incense while chanting? Does that help manifest faster? Yeah, rose is great, flower essence. So we actually have our own Shreem Brzee incense, and there's just been issues since COVID with shipping and manufacturing, and we're hopefully getting over that soon, and we'll be able to ship it. And it has beautiful essence of Shreem Brzee, a secret sacred herb, as well as jasmine and sandalwood, but rose is also really good. Yes, thank you, Shiva, mentioning peace upon Ukraine. Absolutely. All right, so while we're here, why don't we say a little prayer? Speaking of the crisis in Ukraine and Russia, Dr. Pillai mentioned that what we could do is pray. And Shreem Brzee is the mantra for joy and prosperity and abundance. And the more we all chant that, the higher the vibration of us and the world becomes, and the less of the ability for these negative aspects to occur. So just take one moment, close your eyes. Let's envision a world of peace, envision a world of harmony, envision a world of cohesiveness, envision a world of abundance, envision a world of peace and prosperity for all. Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee. Let it be. Let's see if there are other questions. Shreem Brzee, blessings to everyone today. Grace upon. Remember Tripura Foundation. Yes, thank you very much. Make your donations to Tripura and giving back. When we're chanting Shreem Brzee, are we chanting and thinking about what we want, or does Shreem Brzee know what we want? Or do you almost have to link them together by meditating on Shreem Brzee? And thinking about what you want, does it pick up your previous thoughts? Very, very specific question there. So when chanting Shreem Brzee, does it pick up? Yes. So you can start your meditation or your chanting with a visualization of what you want to create. Okay, so you could be visualizing, I want to, whatever it is, new home, new car, dream job, focusing in on that first with joy and passion, and then begin your chanting process. You don't have to continue to hold it throughout the whole thing, but you can. You can, if it's not too distracting for you. You could be visualizing and chanting Shreem Brzee the entire time. So yes, incorporating your visualization and what you want to manifest together with the Shreem Brzee and the meditation or whatever your practice is, very powerful. Yes, that's very potent. All right. Are there practices? There are practices and teachings that suggest you just say the sound or think the thought alone, but we chant alone or mix. You can mix it. Just like I said, I think I just answered that. All right, so we've been together for quite some time. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up for today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your amazing questions. Certainly makes it more interesting. And I will see you in 2 weeks on March 13th for our webinar, Accelerating Your Shreem Brzee Practice. And more of these questions will be answered, so do show up there. And I also invite you to Dr. Pillai's Great Night of Shiva, or Shivaratri, Mahashivaratri, on February 28th, this Monday night at midnight Pacific time. There's different ways to join. Check out the link below the video, and I hope to see you there as a very powerful, destiny-changing time. And wishing you a beautiful and blessed Shreem Brzee week. Namaste.